Hi, it's Dwyer, gamblersadvisory.com. Remember, the opinion you should follow should be your own. Just consider this video to be a second opinion from a complete stranger online. Let's talk Brian Vera versus Sergio Mora. Full disclosure, this is a rematch of a fight in which I picked Mora the first time, and Mora lost that first contest by split decision. Now, let me just say, in that first fight, what I saw was that Vera is a volume guy. He's coming in, he's throwing a lot of punches, he's a tough guy. But he's not as talented as Sergio Mora. Right? Mora is actually an excellent defensive fighter, and I mean excellent defensive fighter. But understand that the problem technicians like Mora have had and will continue to have is that great defensive fighters who are relying on technique and angles really don't know how to deal with a guy who's just high volume, who's running red lights, whose fight style is to come in, duck his head, and literally throw a bunch of punches, right? And so, Mora lost the first fight, didn't throw enough back, just like Pernell Whitaker didn't throw enough back against Oscar De La Hoya, and just like Billy Dibb didn't throw enough back in the fight he lost, right? Because these great defensive fighters, for them, if they dodge most of your punches, right, and neutralize what you're doing, they'll think that that's enough in a close round. They'll think that their boxing mastery will rule the day. But what some judges will see is just one guy throwing punches and one guy not throwing punches back. I'm going to make the same mistake that I made in the first fight, because looking at the film of these two, I still like Mora to beat Vera. Now understand how high risk this is, right? Mora lost the first fight. Even I, watching that fight, thought that it was close and that the match could go to Vera, right? And so let me just say, what I'm expecting here is more volume from Mora than in the first fight. If you look at the CompuBox numbers, you're going to see that Mora landed a higher percentage of his power punches. Vera threw and landed more power punches, but Mora landed the higher percentage. Let me also say that whenever you're looking at a fight involving a technician like Mora, right, just keep in mind that Mora's looking at many of the same films we are. And Mora is acutely aware that when Brian Vera fought the rematch of the Andy Lee fight, he got owned. He lost that fight by a wide margin against a guy who he had beaten earlier. Another guy who, of course, relies on technique and angles over volume, right? Andy Lee was able to use his jab to win a wide margin over Vera in that second fight. And that's what you have to do, right? You have to keep the Brian Veras of the world off of you. You can't let him get in close and then just rely on your defensive acumen. You literally have to throw the jab. It increases your volume. It gives you the appearance of more ring generalship as you maneuver around him, right? I'm expecting a lot more jabs from Sergio Mora in this fight. I'm expecting Mora to have learned from the Andy Lee video and to come in prepared to neutralize what Brian Vera does. Now, I know Brian Vera has had some great trainers, but Brian Vera strikes me as a pattern fighter. I don't believe he can change. So I believe the same fight that he fought in the first fight is what he's going to bring to the party here. I believe the difference is going to be Mora throwing more jabs, being more active, and beating a Texas fighter in a rematch of a fight he lost. And the rematch is taking place in Texas. I like Sergio Mora here. Let me know what you think. Leave your comments for me here online. Visit us at gamblersadvisory.com. Thanks for watching.